Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich. In this succinct review, we'll go through 10 guidelines that, if followed, might make you successful. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Introduction. Only when we are motivated by a strong desire can we achieve our goals in life. Many of us aspire to be wealthy and financially independent, but wishful thinking won't help us accomplish our objectives. We must recognize a deep desire within ourselves if we want to become wealthy and achieve our goals. For instance, Thomas Edison persisted in his quest to create an electric light source after conducting more than 10,000 unsuccessful experiments. Simply wanting to see his goal come true was all that motivated him. And he succeeded in doing just that when he created the light bulb after years of diligent work. Similar circumstances were faced by author Fannie Hurst, who had to endure more than 36 rejections before even one of her short tales was accepted for publication in a newspaper. Her career as a popular novelist and dramatist took off after that. In the end, she was successful because her intense desire overcame her frustration at being turned down. Therefore, it's crucial for those of us who want to succeed to evaluate our own attitudes toward defining our objectives and aspirations. How do we feel about the dreams and goals we have? Are they just a series of skyscrapers? Or will our unquenchable yearning be sufficient to bring them about in the future? Principle 1. Every success is based on setting goals and carefully preparing each step of the way. Every success story starts with individuals who are clear about their goals. Therefore, you should start by clearly identifying your own particular aim before you start going after any old ideal. For instance, you should decide exactly how much money you want to make if you want to become wealthy. Furthermore, you need to know exactly when you want to attain your goal and how much money you are willing to spend on it. Because you can only ever fully pursue a goal that is floating in the distant future. Having a precise aim is useless. It's crucial to develop a strategy that details each step you must take to reach your objective. And once you've got a plan, get to work. Don't squander any more time. If you want to be sure that your goal for success is firmly rooted in your own thoughts and deeds, use the following technique. Write down your objective as well as your thorough plan for attaining it first. Then, read it aloud twice daily, once after waking up and once before retiring for the evening. It will be much simpler for you to become wealthy, or realize any other dream, if you heed these advice. Principle 2. People who are successful have unflinching self-confidence. You may ensure that you can and will accomplish your goals by having unwavering faith in yourself. Success is only possible if it is built on self-assurance and unflinching faith in oneself. Without this faith as its foundation, no money has ever been amassed, no distant countries have ever been explored, and nothing has ever been invented. Mahatma Gandhi is a wonderful example of the influence of faith. He was able to challenge British colonial power and lead his nation to freedom despite not having access to the traditional tools of power, such as money or the military. The only support he had came from his unwavering conviction that he could exert such power over his countrymen to make them stand up for their shared interests. Our self-image and style of life are greatly influenced by our level of self-belief. It genuinely has the power to enable us to scale mountains. Principle 3. Our subconscious can affect our behavior by using autosuggestion. Unwavering self-confidence is something that anyone can acquire gradually through autosuggestion. It's not always something that comes naturally to you or that you're born with. The term autosuggestion refers to a technique for influencing oneself by thinking highly particular and deliberate thoughts or ideas. You can use it to provide your subconscious mind instructions or encouraging goals and so boost your self-confidence. Generally speaking, autosuggestion entails convincing yourself that you can achieve your goals, your thoughts can become reality, and you should take your own route with confidence. The more frequently you employ autosuggestion, the more likely it is to assist you in succeeding. Your unconsciousness will direct all of your thoughts and actions toward realizing your objectives and wishes if you make them a part of it. Principle 4. Power comes from knowledge, but it need not come from what you studied in school. Having knowledge can make achieving your goals in life much simpler. All you need to do is keep a few fundamental things in mind. First and foremost, you must reject the conventional definitions of education and knowledge. As Henry Ford amply proved, being intelligent or well-educated is not restricted to having a high school diploma or university degree. Uneducated persons can also know a ton of information. He didn't finish high school, but that didn't stop him from building an industrial empire and earning millions of dollars. You don't need to fill your head with a ton of information if you want to succeed. Rather, it's more crucial to gain the correct experiences and knowledge, play to your strengths, and reach your maximum potential. The most essential prerequisite is a lifelong commitment to study. Your deadliest adversary is complacency. Instead, you must constantly be prepared to actively and deliberately increase your knowledge. This can be done in a variety of ways, such as by attending college, taking evening classes, or getting work experience. Knowing where to find the information you require is also helpful because you don't have to be an expert in everything. Instead, you should be aware of whom to contact if you have questions. Being surrounded by a network of professionals who share their specific knowledge is typically more useful and effective than learning it all on your own. Principle 5. We may make our dreams come true in the workshop of our mind. Every single success story starts with a thought. And the imagination lies at the heart of each and every concept. In essence, our thoughts act as a creative workshop where dreams become ideas and ideas become reality. The creative imagination and the synthetic imagination are two variations of this creative talent. We can think of wholly original ideas by exercising our creative imagination. Innovative writers, visual artists, and composers use this feature to produce works that have never been produced before. The synthetic imagination, in contrast, reorganizes previous concepts into fresh arrangements. For instance, Sony's engineers employed this ability when they chose to improve the playback device or dictaphone used by journalists and transform it into a portable music player that anybody could use. As a result, the Walkman was created. Synthetic and creative imaginations can complement one another in interesting ways. Consider the tale of Asa Candler, who, around 140 years ago, used a headache medicine to create the world-famous Coca-Cola brand. Candler developed the brilliant ideas and marketing methods that made the product a big success. Even though he didn't come up with the Coca-Cola recipe, he acquired it from a pharmacist for $3,000, and it wasn't his idea. You must stimulate and support your imagination if you don't want it to become sluggish. And you can do so by energizing it, keeping it alive, and exercising it in the same way that you would a muscle. The more often you use it, the more effective and potent it will become. Principle 6. Your prospects of professional success increase when you are aware of your own talents and flaws. Being self-aware, or being aware of your own talents and flaws, is a crucial component of professional success. Self-awareness can assist you in proactively taking action against these weaknesses, or at least to balance them out with your strengths, since traits like having hazy goals, missing motivation, delaying, and lacking resolve are frequently cited causes of failure. It is advisable to conduct a thorough and honest self-analysis to be able to determine exactly what your strengths and shortcomings are. Don't worry, seeing a psychologist is not necessary for this. It's sufficient to ask yourself a series of questions, such as, have I met my goal for this year? Was I consistently kind, considerate, and cooperative? Did I make all decisions swiftly and firmly? Then you should contrast your subjective appraisal of yourself with an outsider's objective assessment of you. This works best when you sit down with someone who knows you very well and share your strengths and faults in an open and sincere manner. Principle 7. The secret to living a successful life is having strong, positive emotions, which must be developed. Our subconscious takes in and holds on to sensory information, emotions, and thoughts. No matter how good or bad our past experiences were, they are all preserved. But merely storing information isn't enough. Our subconscious is also actively influencing our behavior at all times. It can mold us positively, giving us grit and initiative, or it can mold us adversely, leading us astray into hopelessness and despair. Therefore, we must ensure that good feelings take center stage in our life if we want our subconscious to aid us in realizing our ambitions and goals. Therefore, in order for our subconscious to serve as a useful and beneficial guide, we must feed it with positive things. However, the exact opposite will happen if we give in to too many negative emotions like fury, hatred, a desire for vengeance, or pessimism. You've made a big step in your life when you can, for instance, avoid negative people and pay no attention to their pessimistic predictions. Instead, you should strive to develop all uplifting emotions, like zeal and love. You can only do that if you want to cultivate a positive outlook over time. Principle 8. People that are successful stand out for their tenacity and perseverance. The research of more than 25,000 life stories of individuals who struggled to succeed professionally reveals that lack of tenacity was the primary factor in their failure. Contrarily, the analysis of the success stories of multimillionaires shows that they all shared two traits. They were accustomed to making split-second decisions and, once they had been made, they firmly stood by them. As long as it doesn't become blind obstinacy, a little amount of stubbornness can even be beneficial. Particularly Henry Ford was renowned for sticking with his choices for a very long time. For instance, he received numerous recommendations to upgrade his well-known, albeit not particularly handsome, Model T. However, he kept the vehicle for a long period. which allowed him to continue making large profits from it. Everyone has an opinion, and the majority of people are eager to share it. It makes sensible to give others as few opportunities as possible to voice their critical ideas in order to avoid falling into the risk of harmful influences and taxing your own resolve. Because of this, those who are discouraged in particular should keep their ideas and intents to themselves and not confide in anybody else than their hand-picked team members or reliable outsiders. Principle 9. Persistence is the key to success. No matter the nature of the endeavor, there will inevitably be challenges and barriers to overcome. Most of us are too ready to abandon our ideas and let the enterprise fail in such circumstances. However, there are some people who, in spite of all the challenges, continue with their original intentions and allow their ambitions the room to materialize. The trick is to be persistent and resilient. That entails, above all, that we maintain focus on and strive tirelessly toward the achievement of our objectives. But it's best to avoid being stubborn and persistent at all costs. You must also be prepared to put it into action, for example, if a price correction is absolutely necessary. Here are 4 straightforward yet essential guidelines to follow if you want tenacity and endurance to become habits. You must be driven to succeed and have a clear objective. To assist the accomplishment of your goals, you need a detailed and accurate plan. You must resist letting depressing and negative viewpoints affect you. You need to have a close, trustworthy relationship with the person or organization that helps and supports you. Consider these guidelines as a unique fitness regimen that will help you increase your own stamina and persistence. Principle 10. Being smart and surrounding yourself with smart people will help you achieve amazing things. The planning becomes more difficult as the goal grows in size, the goal's execution becomes more challenging as it grows in complexity, and the execution becomes more difficult as it grows in complexity, increasing the brains behind the project's reliance on the moral, intellectual, and creative support of others. The greatest way to achieve this mutual support is through a brain trust, which is an exclusive organization of smart individuals. In contrast to a network, which is more informal cooperation between partners, a brain trust is an association of like-minded individuals that places emphasis on establishing a common purpose, developing competencies, and having a system of checks and balances. The most crucial aspect of a brain trust is its synergistic effect. When 2 or more people who get along well pool their abilities and resources to work toward a common objective, the results are greater than the sum of their individual parts, creating a surplus that allows for accomplishments that would have been impossible to make on your own. Final thoughts. This book's key message is: wealth, in any form, rarely arises by chance or happenstance. Far from that, it's virtually always the product of several characteristics and abilities that anyone can pick up. If you would like to get a copy of this book, you can click on the Amazon link in the description box. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share with your family and friends.